I wanna be where you are. And you're like a rose that blooms in my mind, innocent and sweet. I love you are. But one thing I know, girl, loving you is easy for me to do, baby. And I will feel this way till the end of time. Even though you heard this 1,000 times, it's not true. Oh, baby, you and I together for always. Baby, I bring every single prayer for you, baby.
Yes, baby, you and I together forever. That's your boy right there, rocking and rolling. This is Haywood Barber, the Harlem Heretic at the Haywood Barber Show. The Harlem Heretic bringing it to you. Yes, I've been absent over the weekend and I missed a show on Monday. But here it is, Tuesday night, and we're going to make it happen right now. And I got it good. And we're going to call this show DCA Is Real. And I mean, it is straight real. And just like my man just finished saying, baby, I always want to be there with you and forever with you. There's no doubt about it. Haywood Barber on the Haywood Barber Show, bringing it to you. And look, we already know that I already said 1,000,000 times that this show is all about bringing it to you, real. I'm going to be able to say the things that other people can't say on their show, especially if this show is nationwide. Even on the young brother, Mr. Valentine, he can't come to you too strong because, again, he's being regulated. And, you know, I know my brother Michael, you know, his show is worldwide, so he has to make sure that he keeps it nice and broad. But that's not me. And I'm not going to do it that way. We want to bring it to you the way we see it. And my name is Haywood Barber. I call myself the Harlem Heretic because I'm a heretic. I do not follow the drum beats of the many. I go the road less traveled. Always have, always will. And despite the challenges that I've had health-wise, it doesn't matter. I'm doing my thing. God has blessed me on so many different levels that lets me know that being a heretic is all right with him, because he knows I love him, I serve him, and I know that he walks with me, and I walk in the steps that he told me to walk by his word. And from that, let's rock and roll. Today's show, man, I have something that I wanted to read to you guys, but I didn't bring it with me into the studio. But we definitely going to do the DCA, right? Which is discipline, conditioning, and a way of life. And actually, if you think about it, when you do things in a disciplined manner, and you condition yourself to do that in line of conditioning, it just becomes a way of life. Because I mean, most of you already know, most of my listeners probably come from the same group of people that we all about getting things done. You know, I mean, I don't expect everybody to claim themselves to be a heretic as I do, but I'm pretty sure that you have had people say, oh my goodness, you have a good paying $35,000 a year job, $50,000 a year job. Why don't you just keep it calm and keep it quiet? Why are you making waves? And I got you. The last job I had, I tried my best to keep the numbers down, and I still couldn't make less than $48,000. Couldn't, just because of who I am and the way my personality comes across. And I'm a salesperson. Never thought in my life that I would ever be a salesperson. But, you know, God has a way of turning you into the direction that God, big G, actually big O, big D, makes you want to go in. So anyway, I did become a salesperson after going through high school and becoming, learning everything that there was to learn about being a printer and all that other kind of stuff. But, I digress. I want to talk about, I was on the road today and I left the DC area today, probably a day earlier than I probably would have, just on the fact that there's a storm coming, and this one sounds like it's really going to happen. And that means they wiped the stores out. Now, New Yorkers, Northerners, Chicago, my listeners from Indianapolis and Michigan and all those places up north, North Dakota, even South Dakota, even Alaska and Canada and all that kind of stuff. Y'all don't even understand why people will be wiping out the stores for simple products as eggs, milk, and orange juice and water over a call for a storm that hasn't even happened yet. I mean, these in Washington D.C., even the suburbs of Washington D.C., Maryland, and Virginia will wipe the stores out of eggs, milk, water, and bread in a blink. All they have to do is say, there's a possibility in the model, the weather model, that is, that we might get a dusting of snow. Which, and once again, I know northern people, especially my people up in northern New York, Syracuse, Rochester, this don't even make sense, because we go out, even in New York City, we go out in 6 to 12 inches no matter what. I mean, I learned how to drive on a rear-wheel drive car in the snow. I was taught in the snow. So that's not that big of a deal. But I wanted to read this to you real quick. And I'm working off of battery power on my laptop just because I haven't been able to plug it in. And I wanted to come right in the studio. I'm very tired. I was on the road 5 hours, stopped 3 times. And I got home. I'm tired, but I went and did a workout. So if you hear me panting a little bit, that's because I went, did a workout, had my laptop on, put it on my radio show, and I'm ready to go. But I started this on the road, and I have a pad, and typically I have a digital recorder that can take notes for me. But I said to myself, I often wonder if I would be worthy if I became super duper rich. And then I thought to myself, well, I've done very well, and maybe some of you would even think, based on that doing well, that I was rich, but I wouldn't say that. Some people would probably say, oh my goodness, that kind of money, oh my goodness, why would you ever even want any more? One thing I learned, putting a period at the end of that, would I be worthy now? Boom. Period. I met a gentleman one time when I was doing a network marketing company, and it was actually speared by my wife. At the time, we weren't separated. We're currently separated. And we do a radio show. Look for this show, Happily Separated with the Barbers. And she and I, we're very happy. We're best friends. We extremely happy. I have my way of looking at things. She has her way of looking at things, and she's taking care of those. I'm taking care of mine. And, perhaps we'll be together again. Perhaps we won't. But no matter what, we'll be best friends. And anybody that comes into my life would just absolutely have to deal with that and know that. But I met this gentleman when I was doing this network marketing company. It was kind of a girl company, but I backed my wife, and we put the experience that we know. We both came from network marketing backgrounds. When I was 22, I got into network marketing and learned it from the best. When I say the best, to me, and if you've ever listened to this show, you know that I believe that Amway is the best. Amway is still producing more millionaires. Actually, it's putting more millionaires into the millionaire column than any other industry, other than the young cats that are doing apps and computer apps and doing things like social media, because social media programs are coming out almost by the month, and them cats are becoming millionaires. Silicon Valley has changed this model. They're not just producing chips. Now they are producing what is the idea for the chip. So please keep your kids on the computers, regulate what they see, but make sure that they can understand the computer in a big way. But anyway, this young man told me that the problem with most people and our people is that we don't think big enough. We don't think with enough zeros. We still think in terms of hourly and yearly salaries. And I agree with him. And I agreed with him then. And I learned from him then, as I did in Amway when I was in my 20s, early 20s, to think big, dream big. And when I say that, and I'm going to start doing a series of training classes in sales and attitude and just thinking well, because as I sit before you today with one eye, sickle cell crisis always on my mind, the possibility of losing the other eye, chronic pain at the drop of a hat, doctors telling me get blood transfusions and all that kind of stuff, and that will help me but will not cure me, looming over my head at any given time. I still make sure that I keep the principles that I learned as a preteen. And I want to give you some of those. And today we're going to just go real simple, and I'm just going to talk about DCA, right? And this is again something that I learned as a preteen, almost a child, when I was doing newspapers at 9, 10, and 11. And it's so funny, when me and my best friend Lamont Scott, we talked about doing the newspaper routes. We were 9, 10, 11, 12. He and I got our first real jobs, and they were in city jobs. Everybody was getting city jobs, and he and I managed to get real downtown jobs on 57th Street, across the street from the Russian Tea Room, next door to the Carnegie Hall, in one of a prominent building. Now that building's been knocked down and then raised up to be a super high rise. But nonetheless, at 13, we got just incredibly powerful jobs that led us both into having these jobs for years and years to come. I got fired because I wanted to be a smart aleck, think that I know it all. And if you are a teenager, you probably think, yeah, I am a know-it-all. And if you are a parent of a teenager, you probably say, yeah, he thinks he knows it all, and he don't know nothing. And he don't. And they don't, in most cases. But I learned that in order to get big, you got to think big. You got to believe big. So I'm not here tonight, and I will be here to lecture, but I'm not here tonight to lecture. I'm here to give you some simple principles in order to follow and go by. As I said, I'm very tired. Just finished having 5 hours on the road, and that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to teach you, but I'm trying to at least put some principles in your head to think about and let them marinate. Because if you come back to the show, and I'm happy to say this show is doing way better than I anticipated. I mean, it's just, my followers are growing even when I don't do shows. The downloads are becoming more and more even when I don't do. Again, I haven't done a show since Friday. I don't even know if I did one Friday, but I think I did one. Yeah. Actually, my strange wife and I, we did one. Lola and I did one. I shouldn't call her that because, again, she and I are incredibly best friends. But we did a show called Happily Separated with the Barbers. I'm not sure if it was part 1, 2, 3 or whatever, because we've done a few. But the gentleman told me again that most people, and we, don't think with enough zeros. And look, I just left Washington, D.C. area, and that whole metropolitan area, unlike New York, where, you can go up to Harlem and you can see all of, like people have said this for years, 30 years I've been told that, you can go to Harlem and you can see the best cars, nicest cars that you've ever seen in the entire world. Now, however those cats are getting their money, I don't know, and that's not my business. And that's it, cats, ladies, guys, whatever. Boom, that's not my business. One thing I know about the Washington, D.C., I know mostly how those guys are getting their money. A lot of them work for the government. A lot of them have been with the government for 25, 30, 40 years. They become GS 15, 16s, and 17s, and even 18s, and they are making just like crazy money. And a lot of them have saved. A lot of them have not saved. A lot of people call that area Tinseltown. That's not my position at all. I don't know about tinsel or anything like that. And tinsel would mean that they're not really saving. They just have a lot of flash. That's not my business. I don't know. But one thing I do know is that most people don't think with big enough zeros. They think in terms of annual incomes, and they think about hourly wages. And I'm here to tell you, in order to get to the big numbers, when I'm talking about $40,000, $50,000 a month, and I'm not talking from conjecture, I'm not talking about from guessing, I'm not talking about from what they say. If you're talking about making $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a month consistently and making it and being smart, that I cannot attest to, being smart. But making that kind of money is just thinking that strong. And I will even say that I probably, and we didn't think strong enough to get to $100,000 a month, $400,000, $500,000 a month. I have on my wall, and I'll read this to you, that I read now. By X date, I am so happy that I will be at the head of and one of the owners of a $1 billion business that pays me, hear this y'all, pays me $1 million a month income, and I formed and built with my willingness to serve the marketplace and families with my hands and brains, with a few others. I will do it. Boom. And then I put 1BNT, which means 1 billion in 10 years, which was the goal stated. But what I want you to start getting into is believing in big numbers. Shoot for those numbers. Donnie Simpson from the DC area, which was on BET in the early days, which, you know, Bob Johnson and his wife sold that thing for about $8 billion. But Donnie Simpson used to end his radio show all the time by saying, shoot for the stars, and if you don't make it, shoot for the moon, and if you don't make it, at least you would be amongst the stars, quote unquote. And I listened to that, and I listened to this brother, and I listened to the people that were at the head. And one thing about being in network marketing, especially in the right network marketing company, they will make sure that your mindset, if it's the right network marketing company, they will make sure that your mindset is in the right frame. They will make sure that you have the right frame of reference, right frame of mind, right frame of thinking. So when we do DCA, right, which simply means discipline, conditioning, will lead us to a way of life, which is, I didn't write that down like that, but it will, because we all know, and if you read any book, if you read any of the books that are somewhat what they call motivational, but get you in the right frame of mind, you know, and the number one book I suggest you get immediately, I won't even delay in telling you this, but get Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. And I'm pretty sure everybody on this that listens to this knows to get that book. That book you gotta read, and you gotta read page 37 and 38. You have to. I mean, you just have to, if you have the original manuscript. But discipline is so important. Like I told you tonight, I came off the road, I got something to eat, and I went to work out. I went to do my walk run. That's what I do almost every day except for Saturday. This Sunday I didn't do it in the morning, but I did it in the evening. Yesterday I did it in the evening, right? And then I did some workout in the house. Today I did it in the evening after getting off the road because I was so tired. And one thing I've learned, and you'll learn this too, especially if you put discipline towards it, it gives you more energy if you have something you want to do. That's why I suggest you do it in the morning if you're sluggish. Dehydration is also a reason for sluggishness, but that'll get you pumped up and get you going. Listen to something good, and Lola listens to Jay-Z and Eminem, and whatever it is that gets you pumped up, even if it's disco techno, go ahead, go ahead and listen to that. But start putting yourself in a place where discipline rules your life, and not just the willy-nilly, or just going along with what happens. Even if, I know you got children, I know some of you are single parents, single mothers, single fathers, and I'm starting to learn that there's not just as many, but there are a lot of single fathers out there too. And my suggestion is, if you're a father and you are a parent and you're not doing your duties, get out there and do what you got to do. Give that lady, whether you hate her or she hates you or whatever's going on, give her a break. You know what I'm saying? And if she's gotten overweight as a result of being too tired to do anything, give her a break and let her go do some things. But, so, think with bigger zeros. Put discipline in your life. God rewards discipline. God rewards us when we do beyond what we normally do. He loves when we come outside of a box. Especially if we just sitting home and we're miserable because we don't have the kind of life that we wish we had, and he's gone, he's not here. I wish I had somebody. Well, won't you prepare yourself? This goes back to my statement, which, let me get here. My statement in saying that I often wonder if I would be worthy to be rich, super rich. My word, because anyway, I don't want to get into that. But now I know that I have to be worthy now. If you want something so bad, you have to condition yourself. That goes to the C. You have to condition yourself now to be ready for it. See, God's not going to hand it to you and then hope to see. He knows your potential, but he wants to see your potential laid out, because we all profess faith, F-A-I-T-H. We profess faith that we're going to go out there and we know what's going to happen. But if that's really the case, then that means that we have to believe in ourselves, and we have to believe in what we're going to receive from that moment on. So, are you going to believe that you're going to be worthy, or you're going to be ready for worthiness to receive the riches that God already promised you? And if that is the case, then live it now. Don't wait. See, because God knows better. He's seen too many times. He's seen me. He's seen Rodney King. He's seen what's the young man that's a little bit older now, $300 million go down the tubes. He's seen Michael Jackson. He's seen countless people. And what was the dancing guy that, that's right now. Oh my goodness. I can't believe his name. I should have wrote it down. But so many people, and you know them too. I even know people that that was awarded $10 million, $15 million. That was making $350,000 a year. Some cases $250,000, $400,000 a year. Because if you are not presenting worthiness prior to or in the midst of it, he can't get you to what I'm asking for, is $1 million a month. But you got to be worthy, exercise discipline, display that you are in the midst of conditioning yourself for that worthiness now. Because if you do those two things, then it'll become a way of life. That's why on automatic, I know I'm going to do my show. I need to be a little bit pumped up. So in order to have a little bit of zeal for the show, so that you will listen to the end, just do. Just be. It's part of my life. Even tonight, right now, I'm getting ready to go downstairs. I'm going to put something together to eat, even though it's 7 and change. I'm going to make a pot of kale. You hear me? A pot of kale. 10 years ago, you told me I was going to make a pot of kale for dinner. I would tell you you're out of your mind. But because I've put myself on a path and just made that first step of faith, now the discipline has turned into a conditioning, and now the conditioning has turned into a way of life. And that's all I'm asking. I'm giving you a suggestion. God has compelled me to tell you just that. Trust me, I want to talk about politics, which I'm a political junkie. I want to talk about some of the nonsense that I heard about with Sean Hannity and Rush Limbaugh. Oof, just, chaotic type stuff that these guys believe in. These are pure comedians. But this is what I was compelled to say. And I know that Hugo Chavez passed away earlier this afternoon as well. That puts a stamp on the show. But he passed away. And I don't know which way you go. And the vice president, now president, says that his cancer was a result of imperialist nations. And I'm not sure if that means us or not, but, we know America has had its hands in the middle of people's business for years, trying to be imperialists, or being imperialists. But that's neither here nor there. So, I have something I want to read to you guys. I don't have it tonight. I'll probably have it tomorrow or the next night, depending upon how much time I have on the show. But I wanted to thank you for listening to Haywood Barber, the Harlem Heretic, bringing it to you. I'm going to start doing mid-month or hopefully sooner, hopefully not later, 2 shows a day. I want to get myself, you guys know if you listen to any of the show, I'm going to make sure that I'm putting 5 years of my life on the line to become the best radio host in the world. I'm not trying to knock anybody. I'm not trying to overstep anybody, but I want to be able to bring information to you over the next 5 years in order to bring a following, in order to educate, in order to uplift. I told a friend of mine this weekend that I had thought about being a pastor. And he says, well, one thing about being a pastor, it's a calling, it's not a wanting. And I'm not sure and I have to distinguish if that's what God wants. Because I don't want to just do it because I feel like I want to do it because I want to give information. Because if I want to give information, doing 2 shows a day for 1 or 2 hours a day will give information. And I already know, based on even what I'm doing with this crude setup that I have for my radio station, that it will be grandiose, and God will put His blessing on it, and I will get donations, and I will get all the things that I need in order to make a true radio station superior to any. I already know that because I believe in that more than anything. I know what my God will do. So I want to thank you. This is Haywood Barber, the Harlem Heretic. Thank you very much. I want to go out with this one.
You